Once you've made some adjustments to your global gradebook settings underneath Gradebook Setup, you're going to want to go to your actual gradebook for one of your classes. We are now going to change some options, and these options will be applied only to the class you're working with. So you're going to want to do these different option changes to each class that you teach. So I'm here in my first period class, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust how my assignments are being displayed to me. I currently like them to show me by week. By category and unit, the way that I grade and organize my grades, I don't find that to be useful. So view by week, we'll just put them in order. It does color code them by week, but it gives it to me in a view that I'm used to. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually right click. I have a little save button up here in the top right corner. I'm going to right click on that save button, and I'm going to turn on autosave. And that will, every time I make a change and enter a grade, automatically save itself to the server. I find having that on avoids me forgetting to click on save. And if I had some sort of a crash or disconnect from the server, it's been saving all along. So those two settings are the first thing that I'll change on every gradebook view. The next settings that I change are underneath options, and these are all things that you can toggle on and off and see how they affect your screen. But these are the ones that I have found to be the most effective and are sort of my recommendations. Now, this first column of settings, I usually leave those as default in the way they come, with the student picture, drop students off, class marks and percentage points on, student ID off, and then leaving them sorted by last name. I think that first column is pretty good the way it is. The next column here is grading, and there are a few things I would change on here. First thing is I would make sure that fill down grades is turned on, and that gives you the ability, if you're typing in a grade and I want to type in a 30, I can type or click this little button and it will fill the entire column with that same score. If I double click, it'll overwrite anything in there. So if I click on that and I decide, you know what, everybody actually got a 19, I can double click and it will overwrite all of those things, as well as being able to clear them out. If I put in a blank and overwrite it, it'll just clear all of those entries. Again, that is the fill down grades. Show comment codes, I also turn on. That way, if I'm typing in my comment codes like a Z or an X or a yes or a no, it will actually show me those different codes. If I don't have that turned on, they are hidden and it still affects the grade. I just can't tell why with the various comment codes. Showing ungraded and posted grades, I have not found to be useful, but I do. Sometimes I'll adjust the at-risk highlight. It'll give you a little arrow showing you who is currently at risk as far as their grade goes. Under assignments, I have turned on the max value and points so that I can guarantee that I have made those numbers the same. We'll cover that in the next section here, but if you grade according to total points, you're going to want these two numbers to be the same within all your assignments. And I just leave those on just to guarantee that I didn't accidentally do that incorrectly. I also like to turn on my analysis bands. That will give me a highlight of colors based on what grade level that student has gotten on that particular assignment. So if I type in something that is a failing, it highlights it red. Anything above a certain point will be green, and there's also yellow in there. You can adjust those based on the numbers in here, all right? And you can actually scroll down a little bit more and adjust what those bands are and how wide those different columns are with this setting at the bottom. Underneath grade detail, this is something that I can change on and off, and I toggle it quite often. That's why it's actually up here as well. And what that does is when I'm clicking on and entering in grades, this is the traditional view. If I have that toggled on, it gives me an overlay of the student's information. I can click different comment codes over here, add notes privately and publicly here as well. That's an overlay that every once in a while is useful, but for the most part, I leave that toggled off. And again, that is grade detail. The final thing I'll adjust on here is I like to turn on attendance. It'll give me a code on a particular due date. So if an assignment is due and that student has an attendance code, it will appear and give me a notification like you're seeing right here. And then the last thing I've adjusted on here is the assignment sorting. Oldest to newest is how we traditionally have seen this, where my oldest assignments are on the left side, my newest ones are on the right. And if you find that to be flipped around, it's this option setting that has done it. Overall, those settings you can toggle on and off, but those are the ones that I have found to be the most useful within Synergy's Teacher View.